Public speaking has probably been the scariest thing to me, besides heights. And to be honest, I really don't know why. Some fears, like the fear of snakes or the fear of spiders, make sense because those things can kill you. But public speaking has never killed anyone, and yet I still really don't like it. I'm assuming it's something to do with me overthinking my situation and always assuming that if anything could possibly go wrong, then it will go wrong. Which, admittedly, definitely is the wrong way to think about stuff, but I can't help it. And I don't really know how to fix it anyway. This is just something that has always been with me. If you had asked a younger me if he would have liked to never have to make another presentation again, he would have said, yes, God, yes, thank you. And I know it might seem ironic because I'm speaking publicly right now, but this is different. I'm in my room and I can't see anybody looking at me, judging me. In elementary school, we had a chance to run for student council and we needed 50 signatures from other students to do so. That was easy. But then I found out we had to give a speech to the students. The thought of it made me retire from politics for good. I just wasn't gonna have it. The chance for mistakes in my mind were just way too big. If I make a mistake in class or wherever, that's just the only thing on my mind for the next 5 hours. It just keeps replaying and replaying. And the thought of that happening when I'm giving a speech, it will probably be the worst thing to happen to me at that point in my life. So it was better to just play it safe and just quit while I was ahead. I know some people just tell you stuff like, oh, just imagine them in their underwear. First of all, that's weird. Second of all, I don't have time to do that because I'm too busy stressing over how I'm going to pronounce the next syllable.
Old chum.
Truth is, I'm probably just a lost cause. So let me just tell you a couple examples of my public speaking moments. One of the first times I can remember publicly speaking was back in middle school when I had to present my science fair projects. We had to do them, we didn't have a choice. We had to do one every year, but I only remember the one that happened in 6th grade because that was the worst one. So I decided to do my project on optical illusions and whether or not 2 different people saw an optical illusion the same way. Or something like that. Let's just say I really didn't know what I was doing. The whole scientific method thing wasn't really employed throughout, so let's just say I didn't have any real evidence. I don't even know what I had. I just had blocks of text on my science board poster thing. All around it was just a mess, and when it was my turn to present, I didn't know what to say because I had nothing to say. All I could do was stutter and just make stuff up on the spot. I'll admit, back then, I was kinda lazy. But I got a 70 on it. So, at least it didn't fail. Which certainly surprised me. Thankfully, after that, I tried to make sure I was fully prepared for all presentations I had to do. And luckily, most of them went smoothly. Except for one in 11th grade in my AP Literature class. This was the last presentation of the year and after the AP test, so I really kinda didn't care anymore. But our teacher gave us a research project where we had to research 3 colleges and present them to the class. Yeah, now I know that doesn't sound bad, and to be honest it wasn't, but for some reason I hated everything about it. I had pretty much decided already where I wanted to go, so I didn't want to waste time learning about other colleges. Yuck. And besides that, my presentation pretty much sucked. People say to volunteer to get it over with, but I'm glad I didn't. I saw so many things in other people's projects that mine was lacking in, so I had to try to emulate their good points into my project. My teacher picked us out randomly to go, and I got lucky because I was the 3rd to last to go, which meant I had a lot of pointers from the people who went before me. Anyway, apparently we were supposed to mimic how people gave presentations in colleges, and we were supposed to greet the class and say our name. So when I got up there, I just said, "Hi, I had absolutely no emotions in my voice. My teacher didn't stop me, probably because it didn't matter, but I could tell she was scrutinizing me more. Throughout my presentation, I sounded like I haven't had an emotion since kindergarten. I didn't like giving this presentation, but I didn't think I was that bad. That is until my teacher kept me after class and asked me if A, I was nervous, or B, didn't care. And admittedly, it was a combination of both. But I just said, oh, I was just so nervous. And she just let me go. This last story is probably the worst one for me because I didn't just have to talk to my fellow students. I had to talk to their parents. So in 12th grade, I became an officer in my school's National Honor Society. I don't know if you heard of it, it's kind of a big deal. Anyway, when I became an officer, I thought, nice, and went on my way. But apparently being an officer meant I had responsibilities, but they weren't so bad until the induction for the new members. The officers had to read speeches. That wasn't in a job description. I don't want to say I wouldn't have become an officer if I had known, but I didn't like it. Luckily, I wasn't one of the officers that was chosen to read a speech, but I still had to list off names of some of the inductees. But I was still nervous. I was sitting up there in front of all the parents of the inductees, dreading my turn to speak. And I had it easy. Some of the other officers had to read 2 paragraphs about hard work or something. When it was my turn to go up there, I took a deep breath and spoke. And I know I sound like a baby when I say this, but I was just praying I wouldn't mess up a word and look like an idiot. But I didn't. I sat back down in victory. Also, fun fact, my friend who also had to read names accidentally skipped someone, and the guy just stood there awkwardly. I felt bad for him. Also, my mom recorded me. Looking back as an adult, I know that my fear of public speaking is just the result of my brain overthinking itself. So now what I do is not think. Moral of the story, talking's hard.